machines, defining coin operating machines, requiring the display of the tax receipts, prohibiting the placement of coin operating machines within 1,500 feet of any school or church buildings, regulating the time and manner of operating coin operating machines, providing penalties for violations of this ordinance, savings and severability clause, conflicts, and an effective date.
I think we got a couple of ordinances mixed up in there. It looks like there was a budget amendment ordinance that got mixed up in that.
So it should be 2015-033?
33, with the caption. But it's amending that ordinance, so the caption has previously been read into the record last week.
Do I have a second? Motion fails for lack of second. Do I entertain another motion?
If there's a motion to table or anything, or...
Is there another motion? Okay.
Or a motion to not approve would be a...
Yeah, I make a motion not to approve the grandfather.
Do I have a second?
Mayor, could you repeat the motion? It's kind of hard to hear.
You said not to approve?
Not to approve the grandfathering provision.
Not to approve the grandfathering. Do I have a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
So you can either entertain a motion to table or take no action.
May I have a motion to table or take no action?
Madam Mayor, I move no action on this item.
May I have a second? Motion fails. Anyone want to make a motion to table? Motion fails. May I have a, no, nothing.
Try to stop.
Nada.
Other comment?
I'm not leaving because I didn't get my way, but I should have been gone 30 minutes.
So as presiding officer, we can move on for lack of action.
We have a, well, we don't have any action, so.
There's no action, but if people would like to speak.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, and I'm sorry, Councilman Yento had to run out. I know he'll be back, but it may surprise some folks, but I do kind of agree, you have to regulate. But I'm looking at a regulation that would really be a disincentive to get on the waiting list. Okay, if you have to grandfather for whatever legal reasons, my point is, you regulate in such a fashion where you say all future citizens can have, 5 slots, and there's only one in the city, and it's got to be 25,000 feet, some ridiculous thing, was still within the city limits, and that's not challengeable, but it would stop. It's not saying it's illegal, but what it is doing is making such a disincentive for these gamers that if they want to, they're not. They'll move to Corpus or someplace. They're not going to come here. So I would urge the council to think about a regulation that would regulate these as Chicago does guns, as Washington D.C. does guns. It's not illegal, but you ain't going to get them. So I would urge you to try and think of a way to do something like that.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm over here, sorry.
Now, where's the voice coming from?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just have a question for clarification. No comment on it one way or the other. So does that mean that the one that passed Thursday stands?
Correct. So that'll be the second publication coming up. We're still on the same timelines for enforcement and everything else from the previous one.
Just that one.
Yes, I just want that one. Thank you.
Council? Well, let me go ahead. Because in this discussion, we said we had eight game rooms, okay, and they're not grandfathered. And the ordinance states 5 game rooms. What determines which ones have to close?
First come, first served. They're going to have to rush through the door to sign up to be on the list.
Okay, and the issue of 1,500 feet remains.
Correct.
So based on what we currently have, does that leave any business open?
Well, when we had a quick discussion last Thursday, what it means is that we have to notify everyone that this ordinance exists, which we put in the paper, and a second notice, and then we have to let them know that they have to sign up as a first come, first served. They have to sign up, and then after the 30 days, because there's a 30-day window that's in the ordinance, then they would have to stop operating if they're not one of the 5 that come in and pass the background check, because I believe it's a background check that has to be done.
Background checks, contact information, DBA information.
And we also have to order stickers for each machine, because each machine has to have a serious number, and I've spoken to the police department in reference to that as well. And so I just need you to know so we can make sure, because client time is ticking and I only have the 30-day window.
I think what
When does a business owner start paying the city of Floresville? At what
I
point?
think it's July, in January, you said the first of the year, correct?
Right.
It's January of 2016.
So somebody that has 40 machines, what do they come pay initially?
If they want to keep 25, speaking to you for the record.
25?
If they want to keep 25 of those 40, then they would have to get rid of 15 of those machines prior to their expiration of their 30 days. What the difference is between let's say, 3 of these existing ones come in that have over 25 and 2 new people come in that don't have any but want to be on the waiting list, they all rush in. Those 3 people that already have the machines there have 30 days to come into compliance from there. Those 2 that get on the waiting list, they have to start out in compliance following January 1st, 2016.
Okay. And what dollar amount would that amount to?
25 times 500.
Yeah, I think in the ordinance it's 500 per machine per year, and then there's a $15 tax per machine.
Per machine, so it's 515
$15 per
total.
machine.
Times 25?
Times 25.
Times 25 times 5.
Mr. Bud, who measures the distance of 1,500 feet? For any entity?
Yeah, if somebody wants to really question it, you could get a surveyor to go out and say, from the front door to my property line, is that 1,500 feet? So that would be who measures it, but otherwise, when you submit for something to get the permit, you'd have to make a statement that it's 1,500.
But you all have an issue, I don't know if you read the ordinance, but it says in the ordinance that it can't be next to a hospital and/or a medical and/or a clinic, is what it says.
Or places where children
Or
congregate.
you can't be by a park or a church. So there are some businesses that may be in operating today, that even though they may be one of the 5 that get in here, they won't be able to operate because of the ordinance states that you can't be close to or adjacent or within 1,500 feet of a church, a school, a playground, a hospital.
So they would come in, get on the waiting list, and have 30 days to find a new location, get it approved, and relocate them.
But with those restrictions, how many would actually stay open?
Like I said, because let's take a different approach. Let's take the person next door. He has 2 machines.
You
Okay?
close?
The guy right next door.
Okay,
He
let's
has
go
2
one by
machines.
one.
He can't operate with this ordinance, and he only has, I think, 2 or 3 machines, because he's within 1,500 feet of us, because you can't be by a county building, and it says county property or city property,
Okay, so he's gone.
so that's an example.
And I don't know all 8 or their locations.
And then, okay, so you take the one at the Shell station, and they keep saying, what's the one at the Shell? Jetstar.
That's gone. Is it
Because
approximately to the school?
Too close to
And
the
the church?
school and the church. So that one is gone. And then the one that just opened up at the chiropractor's office is next door to urgent care. That can't open up and operate because it's next door to a hospital, clinic, or anything, according to what you wrote. The
It's also
urgent care,
from 1,500 feet from a church.
urgent
also.
care. Urgent care on 181 can't operate because also, then there's one that has a private, and they say you can only come in there if you are a member. It says you cannot have a private club in order to operate, so that one is gone as well. So it's not, that's where, I just need clarification, because my staff got to get to work, because you said January 1, and I have 30 days, and the clock started ticking from last
The ones
Thursday.
on the highway,
That's for-
address,
That's for.
talk about the ones on the highway.
Okay, so you have the one up there now, please.
Angelicas is the one by Angelicas that you said was private,
That's
right?
private, yes. And then you have the
So that
one
one's-
that's Gabriel
that one's
across from Church
closed?
Chicken.
Is that one closed?
That one's closed, it's been closed for a long time.
Okay, that's by the alternative
Church's
school.
Chicken has been closed for a long time.
Well, not long.
Yeah, it's been closed for how long?
6 months?
Yeah.
Which ones stay open? Maybe that's the way you should.
Who doesn't?
Well, I think it'd be a better analysis that we could identify all of them, because I didn't know until the other day that the one that he had machines next door. So, I sent out the police, and I sent out to my code to get the addresses, and so we have to look at each one individually.
I'm not for or against, but if they all five get together and sue, can they sue the city because of them? All of them are gonna be out.
They can sue, I don't believe they would prevail, because they're not granting, because the city never granted them a right to be here, so we're now establishing something, so they have to
It's
comply.
just like my main concern, because I do talk to some of these owners, and when they came in, and I'm not saying if they're right or wrong, but they came in as a business a month ago, and they paid the permits, they paid all the permits, and they came and told the city, we're gonna open a game room for 70 machines. And they approved they approved the 90 plan, the plan. And now they come and they say, okay, you got 30 days to move. I mean, I'm not defending or the saying, I don't know what they're doing, but is it fair to them that I came in as a business owner, which is, I mean, I don't see right now, I don't see if they're slot machines, and I don't see if it's a restaurant. I just see a business. So if I come in and I buy 70 new machines, I do the construction on a building, I put 70 plugs, and then all of a sudden, you come and you give me the paper and say, okay, you got 30 days to move. Now, the $100,000 or whatever they spent to bring the business to Floresville, is it right for that business? I mean, and I'm not looking at it as like I said, over a slot machine. I'm looking at it would have been a restaurant, it would have been whatever. Is it right to slap them in the face and say, okay, you got 30 days to comply? Wait, they're not, I mean, either they're gonna have to sell, move, or what, because in 30 days, they're not gonna find a building here in Floresville. And that leaves just far out, that leaves, urgent care, the one in urgent care, out. And I think even that Lucky Spin on the other end is gonna be out, because I think they got the alternative store, I don't know how far the alternative store is. They're out, next door, they're out.
That's why gambling.
No, can you prove it's gambling? To me, they say, I mean, I don't know if they're gambling or not, but I'm just saying, as a business for some owners to come spend all that money, and then you just. Well, it's a risk, but I'm just saying. But I'm just saying that.
Madam Mayor, can you call for order? Madam Mayor,
Mayor, yes.
can you call
I
for
was
order?
just asking the question because the owner
They
did say.
get a permit.
All right.
I just wanna know why they get a permit and then they decide they can't be there.
And they didn't get a permit to operate a game room, they got a permit to operate a commercial establishment.
But they have to know it's a game room.
There was no rules previously to this.
They have to say what they're doing.
To the next one.
Right.
A game room, because right there's 4.
Right, and we didn't have the ability to authorize game rooms previously, this would give us the ability to do so. So it's one of those, you're taking a risk if you open such an establishment.
I don't think it's wrong, because they've been there, like Jets have been there for so long.
Mayor.
Yes.
I have a specific question. Okay, so for clarification, what is the difference between what we're defining as a game room? What if they have pool tables and Pac-Man machines and some of those games like a Dave & Buster's or something like that?
And there's actually another thing in here, excluded machines shall mean and include machines that award these are non-cash, merchandise, prizes, toys, and novelties solely and directly from the machine. It's got video games excluded, it's got.
Well, and then I have another question. I know that from what you said, they can't sue the city of Floresville. And that would include planning and zoning, since planning and zoning, they are presenting their plans to them?
Yes, planning and zoning is part of the city of Floresville.
What about occupancy permits? I mean, like somebody said, you've got that trailer right there with all these machines in there. How many people legally can be in that facility?
That's all up to our, the code compliance and everything.
So, Mr. Hug, the amendment stands as we voted, the last one that we voted on stands, right?
Yeah, it stands at 25 per location, 5 total locations, 1,500 feet from the list of locations, no consumption of alcohol on the premises, no individuals under age of 21. They have to comply with all parking ordinances and everything else that Bureau Veritas can check, everything on there. So the one that passed last week is the one that will stay in effect.
Okay, so if they don't meet the requirements, that means the majority of them will be gone, so.
That's my understanding.
And I don't mean to beat a dead horse because I know it's getting late, but Council, just to let you know, it does affect some machines that HEB has as well, because I believe they can sell lottery tickets out of the machine, and that will affect HEB as well,
And Walmart?
and Walmart. If they sell a lottery ticket out of a machine or a coin operated, if you can use a credit card, it will affect them as well. And as you said, I'll have to check each site going forward, but that is also part of this ordinance.
So in essence, we will have no machines, no coin-operated machines left.
And I'll have to look into the lottery because that may be preempted by state law since they govern the Texas lottery. So I'll have to look into that on their page. Well, you can buy the lottery tickets with scratch-offs or Powerball. That's state law says you can buy those tickets.
Henrietta, can we revisit the issue again?
You have to ask your council.
Council?
It can always be tabled and brought back later, like any other item. We haven't taken any action. There hasn't been actually any successfully seconded motion in this. So if anybody wants to table it or just make a motion for non-action and then it can be brought up at some point in the future.
Actually, Councilor, in the same manner as we dealt with another issue, there's been 3 motions that have failed, all due to lack of of a second. A motion to approve,
They've
a
already
motion
done
to
it.
deny, as well as a motion to no action. So to represent the same motion, we've already discussed this and set precedent on that.
Yeah, and the councilman is right, I apologize. So it's just, as presiding officer, you'll move on to the next item for inaction by council.
Okay. We'll move on to the next item then. Next item, Mr. Robles. Okay. A CNA to approve ordinance 2015-034 budget amendment number 1 for 2015-2016 budget.
Yes, Madam Mayor, and David Vesquez apologizes that he's not able to be here tonight, and he's en route to Austin to speak to TCQ for this, for a different matter. This is an ordinance that's amending, asking for some funds, $25,366.60, so that we can do some emergency action that's happening on 8th Street along US Highway 181. Please note that we may have a secondary budget amendment because this only includes the actual work itself. It doesn't include overtime and or engineering fees, but please, this is a matter of urgency that we need to get this approved. So I'm requesting that we approve budget amendment 215-034 for the total amount of $25,366.60 that will allow us to do this emergency repair along 8th Street and 181 so that it can address those issues. I did look into to see that it was part of the USDA. It was not. We had to get permission from TxDOT, so that was a delay. We also have been using and renting sewer equipment to suck out and vacuum out this thing to keep it going. However, it has totally collapsed. And there in your packet, you have several emails from the city engineer recommending that we do take care and address this issue. So you have the budget amendment first, Madam Mayor, and then to approve the contract.
May I have a motion, please?
I so move to approve the ordinance 2015-034 budget amendment number 1 regarding emergency sewer issue on 181 and 8.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Citizen comments? Okay, ready for a vote? All those in favor? All opposed? 4-0.
4-0.
Motion carries. Going on to the next one, CNA to approve the contract with D&D Contractors for sewer line repair and installation on manhole.
Yes, Madam Mayor. As we discussed earlier, normally we go out to bid, and that number is $25,000. However, in this case, your engineer is recommending using this company due to the time of year. A lot of companies take off for the month of December. Due to the time, this is the only person who's qualified. He did state that he speaks to his references and is recommending that we hire the company D&D to do the said work.
Madam Mayor, I read the emails and the proposed contract from D&D and the comments by the city engineer that he actually even attempted to get in touch with another contractor that has done some work With that, I concur with the city manager and so move to approve.
We have a motion, is there a second? Any citizens' comments? All those in favor to approve the contract with D&D Contractors for sewer line repair and installation of management? Raise your right hand. All opposed? 4-0, motion carries. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second? A second to adjourn? All in favor? All opposed? Motion to adjourn. Mr. Ortiz? You seconded it. Meeting's adjourned.